Hey, howdy, hey, it is Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
And I'm Morgan Hill.
Who is that I see on Zoom there? It's the Reverend, the Most High, Rabbi Bradley Hamilton. How are you?
I'm so great, guys. I'm so excited to be doing this with you guys.
It's been too long, hasn't it?
Yes.
It really.
Bradley is in Tampa, Florida, which I didn't know because I showed up at his house about a month ago for dinner, and there's a strange couple there, not Jamie and Pastor Bradley. Thanks for letting me know that you moved.
We made a move over the last couple of months, and it's the weirdest time to move because we get to this new city, new place, and then a week after we get here, everything shuts down. So I haven't even yet seen the area. I every now and then I drive Jamie to work. She's in healthcare, so she's going to work every day still, and I just drive her to work as something to do. I'm like, wow, look, there's people, and that's what I do to get out of the house.
Well, it's interesting because I've been looking on Facebook. There's a lot of you paddleboarding in places, so I think you're stretching the truth there a little bit, Pastor.
we did, quarantine. There's not much we can do, so we decided to get some paddle boards, and we've been doing that. We took the dog out on it recently, the little puppy, and all he wanted to do was swim, so he just kept jumping in the water. So he was no fun on the paddle board. But we're trying to do stuff to keep social distance, but also, enjoy it here and do what we can. So
it's good to talk to you. Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say, is the city of Tampa blaming y'all? Because, a week after you move there, everything shuts down and the economy tanks. Are they blaming you?
Mm-hmm.
The people that we've met down here have made sure that that's apparent. They've said, it's weird that timing worked out the way it did.
You brought it with you from Atlanta.
Pastor Bradley Hamilton on Zoom, and a part of you're on staff at a church now, from what I understand. Dan said something, I think last week, was it, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're doing.
Actually, just started working for Centerpoint. Yeah, just started working for Centerpoint Church down here, and it was really cool because we actually started talking before we moved with them, and just fell in love with them, their staff, their church mission and vision, and seems like it's just going to be a perfect fit on both ends for what we're looking for, what they were looking for, and then even given all this stuff happening, it's just been still really awesome to be able to connect with them and start working now as their student pastor. Even though it's virtual and online, which is the weirdest thing to meet everybody through the screen, but we're figuring that out just like everybody else is trying to figure out as we go. And we have some really exciting stuff planned, and we're excited to be a part of Centerpoint.
Awesome.
How do you think it's going to be? Because obviously for at least the next few weeks, if not longer, you're going to have to be meeting all these kids virtually and not in person. How is that going to be for you? You're more of an in-person kind of guy, aren't you?
Yeah, figuring out Zoom, I'm sure as you guys are doing as well, it's difficult to try and, stay as just relational as you would in person, but that's the goal, is to set up as many Zoom calls and hang out face-to-face as I can, especially with leaders and people like that, to try and schedule things like this, which honestly, if you think, if I want to have a Zoom, if I want to hang out with 20 leaders, normally that's hard to have coffee with 20 people in a week. But now thanks to Zoom, you can do it from your house in between times. So there's some silver lining in there that's going to make it nice for me to connect quickly with a lot of people. So I can't wait to meet them, to connect with them, and to begin that process. But yeah, it's definitely going to be different.
Very cool.
So Bradley, Jamie's there on the front lines. How is she holding up through all this? How are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's so weird for her because she's going to work every day. So everyone's talking about being home and not going anywhere, and she's out every single day. But she loves it. She's a nurse practitioner at a pediatric office. So she's seeing kids every day, and she's actually taking care of well-visit kids. So kids who need vaccines and things, that they're not sick, but they have to go. They can't miss out on these. And so she's really helping take care of the people who have to be out and have to get health care. But also she feels, still safe doing what she's doing, but able to love on people who need it in this time. So she's a rock star. She's doing awesome. I feel so bad because I'm over here at home in sweatpants all day long, and she's out working and putting on the uniform, but she's awesome and doing great.
Pastor Bradley Hamilton there on Zoom in Tampa and on the radio. So I'm sure you've had a chance to talk to and there's a lot of older demographic there in Florida as well as young. But young, old, what seems to be the consensus of the whole pandemic, and where is God in the middle of this? What have you heard, and what are you saying to them?
Hmm. Yeah, that's so good. I think that, just as leaders in the church, I think that we have to take on the mantle of let's lead through this crisis. And so to not get caught up in, yes, it's scary. Yes, people are feeling afraid. And a lot of those fears are so legitimate. Jobs are on the line, health is on the line. And so my hope is to enter into that with people, but then to help carry them through that and to lead through the crisis in any way that we can. And so I think a big role of the church right now is to get crazy creative, crazy experimental, to figure out how do we meet people where they're at, how do we meet people digitally, how do we meet people through social media. And right now I'm trying to do that with students, which is a whole different kind of piece to that. And so I think in so many ways, this has been a learning curve for the church in a good way, that they're going to see, there were so many ways we could be reaching people and connecting with students, adults, where they're at online that we weren't before. And I think in many ways, this is going to challenge us to get ahead on some of these areas and be the church in a new space. So as you know, obviously this is a horrible situation that the world is in. But I think through it on the other side, there's going to be a lot that the church can learn from, and that can continue to help people, not just come out of this crisis, but after we get past it.
Bradley, how would you encourage students right now? Because it might be a tendency to just kind of chill and relax and play video games and not do anything. How would you encourage them to stay in the Word and to keep pointing others to Christ?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, it's hard for all of us to think future or long term. But one thing I continually just want to remind students of is like, where do you want to be later down the road? And for them, can they take advantage of this? For all of us, really, can we take advantage of this crisis, of this quarantine, and think, where do I want to be on the other side of this? What things do I actually want to come out of this and say, wow, I grew in my faith. Wow, I grew in my relationship with my parents. Even though we were locked in the house, we could have gone south, but I grew in my relationship with them. Or I grew in my relationship with my mentor or with my peers. So I think, focusing on the things that you want to do differently and seeing this as an opportunity to work on those, instead of this, negative, I'm just in the house and everything's horrible. What can I actually leverage in this time? So even, for us, that's what Jamie and I are trying to do. We're going, well, we have some extra time to work out. We have some extra time to sit and have a quiet time and pray together. And so we're trying to do those things going, let's come out stronger as a married couple, stronger as Christ followers, healthier on the other side. And so I would encourage anyone and students the same.
Yeah.
We love talking to Pastor Bradley. We do miss you, pal. Really, really do. We're glad that you're right in the center of God's will. Seriously, you and Jamie, you're in our prayers, and you are doing great things here. You're going to do, extremely huge things down there, no doubt, because God puts people in place to produce amazing fruit. I think we still have time for a question, Dan. Do we?
We do.
Hike, you have a question?
Hike.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mrs. Hike. I'm sorry.
What
Excuse
do
me.
you miss most about Georgia? I mean, it's hard to beat Florida, but what do you miss most about Georgia?
It is, we came down here really with no connections. We don't have a lot of friends, family down here. So for us, that's been the biggest curveball, especially given the quarantine when you're separated from everybody anyways.
Yeah.
So we're just learning to be extra, extra intentional about this, catching up with people that we know and love from home. I've had Zoom hangout nights with some buddies, and we're just trying to stay connected, because I think that's super, super important right now, is to not, isolate, completely, to, distance yourself, but not isolate completely from others. So we're still trying to check in and call people, but yeah, we miss that. It feels a little weird being here and being like, everyone we know is 7 hours away. So
yeah, I know it was a little hard for you the first couple of weeks, before you had the job, and so you were just at home. And so we talked over the phone one time, and in the background I hear the sound of him paddling through the water in the pool. It was terrible, right? I mean, just awful having to lay out there in the sun and get hang out. With the
Yeah,
Hey.
if you have to be quarantined, this isn't the worst place to be quarantined.
Hey, and this from a guy who's on the beach every single
That's
show.
right.
Right.
Right
Yeah,
here.
I mean,
That's right.
it's unbelievable. Pastor Bradley Hamilton, follow him on Facebook, and Bradley would love to get back with you and check in on both of you and see what God is currently doing in your lives. Thank you so much. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
And I'm Morgan Hill.
This is Faith Talk Live.